And we're live. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your man James, Mr. Sequential Creditors, back again with some more live stream action for you. Today we're going to be checking out a new crowdfunded book I just got into the mail. But before we do that, I want to thank you all for joining me today and hope the day is going well for you. I've been kind of busy myself. Don't know if you guys saw that, but this Sunday I was up on a live stream with my good friend Pops, who was actually live streaming during a hurricane where he was, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. I don't know if I would be worried about doing live streams if I had a hurricane barreling down on me, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I did that. Just link down there below in the description if you want to check that out afterwards. But as for this, like I said, we're going to be checking out some sweet crowdfunded action. And this one comes courtesy of RJ Shaw from the Fourth Age right here on YouTube. Again, once again, I got a link down there in the description to his YouTube channel, so you can check his stuff out after you've seen this. If you know anything about RJ, he's a big proponent on what it means to be a hero and what being heroic is all about. Basically being a paragon of virtue and self-sacrifice. And so in the books he's worked on, he's really said he focuses on presenting that to people as to what it really means to be a hero. So let's say we dive on into the Valiant Heroes and see just what we got. So here's our package right here. And as always on hand, our trusty box cutter. Remember, kids, do not try this at home without your parents' express permission and supervision. I am professional. All right, let's get on in. Okay. Got it there. Go. Okay. I appreciate you taping it down there, RJ, but maybe you should use some tape that's a little bit easier to get off in the future. Just a little point of reference for you there. And as for me, I got the package that came with some prints, some little poster prints, and so we're going to check those out right now. And here's our first one right here. Probably looks familiar to you if you saw the thumbnail for this stream. Up next, I think by checking these out, you can see here exactly what it is that RJ is talking about when he says about being a hero. And our next one here, I really like this one. This is I believe this is Thor, his version of Thor, since that's a character that is not just superheroic in the comics there, but looks like we're having some technical difficulties. See if we can get this straightened out. Sorry about that, folks, but you know how it is when oh shoot, I can't seem to get this to be fixed. Let's see. Leave the studio. Sorry about that, folks. You know how it goes sometimes. Modern technologies, they don't always go the way you want them to. But I really like that image there with Thor. Here's our next poster image. I have to say the quality of these is really pretty good. I really like it a lot. And let's see, next up we have. Oh, I guess this is the Thor piece. Interesting how on this one you decided to put on some actual lettering and sound effects, whereas you didn't do any of the others. Interesting choice. I wonder why I went that route with that. And then we get to our final one here. I think this is probably artistically probably the best one of the bunch. Just a great dynamic shot, great action pose. I like the coloring on this one a lot. Pretty good stuff. And that takes care of our posters. And then we have our book. And a little Fourth Age sticker. Just in case you guys didn't know about his YouTube channel, there it is right there. And as you can see, not a small book. This is our front cover image with our heroes on it. And even more on the back. Now, this is a book that has multiple stories in it. It's not all just one big long story. Here's our first story right here. You can see there it is, R.J. Shaw, and the art by Martin Stephenson. And this is a story with the characters, what is it, Feral Pulse and Disc. And what it is they. Oh, there you go. That's a good one right there. In this story right here, a twisted evil is stalking a mountainous area and threatens a town, and so the heroes jump in to stop it or to die trying, which of course is pretty much par for the course when you're talking about heroes. Yeah, I really like this coloring style. I mean, I like how he gets the coloring in there with it looks like night. I've seen some books where like there's stuff's happening at nighttime and it doesn't really look very much like night, but the way they did the coloring here, it really gives you that whole nighttime vibe, and I like that. Attention to the details, that they really matter. Let's see. Yeah, just put it right there. I like that page. And let's see. I know, like I said, there's multiple stories in here. Let's say we skip ahead a bit and we go to the next story. There you go. And this one is Kit Fox. And of course, it's RJ writing it with, this time with artist Renzo Rodriguez, who did the last book he did called Thomas Valiant, which was another heroes book. And in this one, you got a group of terrorists attack a local waterfront, and Kit Fox goes in to investigate to find a bigger mystery behind it all, and that's going to test his limits and force him to reevaluate what it means to be a hero. So that's, again, what, according to him, what the story is about. Let's see. Again, here we'll just get a start off with a great splashy image. And again, the coloring, absolutely brilliant. Again, I love the effects they use to create nighttime. Having read the last book that RJ did, I liked it. I really did. There you go. There's some sweet action for you. It's the kind of stuff that you actually don't even see in the mainstream books anymore so much. You don't see action like this anymore. But in the last book, RJ, like I said, I liked it, but he tended to tell a little more than show. And if you've seen any of his videos over on his YouTube channel there, as I've watched many, he's the kind of guy, he likes to be very thorough in what he does, but it causes him to ramble a little sometimes. And I think in the book, it kind of had that same kind of tone. Like I could get what he's going with and what he's going for with the story, but he rambled a little bit with it, with the way he wrote it. And so hopefully, he said that he'd heard back from some people after the first book, and he's worked on this one to do it a little bit differently. And hopefully, that's something that a little more conciseness, a little more straightforwardness in the book, rather than spending a lot more laborious reading trying to give you what you should be giving in the visuals, because as we all know, comics are a visual medium, so you should always let the art do some of the talking besides just the dialogue. So, and let's see, Kit Fox on the case. And I can see Kit Fox is sort of a Batman pastiche. I mean, you got the tech, and look at the boat, all that kind of stuff. I mean, all very Batman-esque. I can definitely see that in the story already, without even having read it or anything. But yeah, let's skip ahead a bit. We'll get to the next story. Okay, and this is our next story here. Interestingly, this is Light Comic Studios is the art for this, and this is what is it? Cardinal and Artemis. Image should look pretty familiar. I think we all just seen that. And this story is about a young woman who learns why a masked crime fighter known as the Cardinal has a reputation for being unrelenting. And it takes place in Tokyo. So we're doing a little world traveling in this one as well. And as you can see here, this is more that computerized, sort of almost like anime-esque look. Which I guess if they're holding it in Tokyo, maybe that's why he went with that, was to get that feel of like a manga type story. Oh wow, this is interesting. It looks like the whole story is done sideways panels. That's kind of interesting. I would never have thought of taking that approach with the story. I know there was a Fantastic Four issue many years ago where they did a sideways story like this, but yeah, wow, I never would have thought to take it there and go that route with it. That's pretty cool. I just got done talking about laborious dialogue, and here it is. This story has virtually no dialogue, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe he really did pay attention to what people were saying. Let's see here. Here we go. And we get to our final story, the Thor story, which is probably the one I was looking most forward to out of the four. And here you got art by Renzo Rodriguez and Mike Gustovich, who, again, if you guys know, he's done work in the actual mainstream of comics back in like the 80s and the early 90s. I've seen Mike's work on some stuff. So let's see here. And this story with Thor, as you can see here, it takes place during wartime, and it's got an army medic who accidentally unleashes the destructive force known as Thor from an ancient prison. Because, crazy stuff happens in war. So, why not? I gotta say, this is interesting too. I like, again, it's always with the coloring, it seems, but the flat coloring, it looks almost like an old school type of comic, like something you would have seen in like the 70s or the 80s. The way the flat coloring, you see how that's done. So I'm wondering if the way he handled the art with this is he tried to tailor each story to fit, the art that was being produced for it, or vice versa. Did he perhaps get artists who would reflect well with that type of a story? I don't know. Well, there we go, the Hammer of Thor. Interesting take on it too. The with the stick at the bottom there. It's kind of interesting take with Thor, because when we're used to the hammer, of course, the Marvel version, and there's been a couple others out there who've had shorter versions of the hammer, but I've never seen one that looks more like a staff. That's kind of interesting that he took it there and went that route with it. And then, well, yeah, here's the destructive force unleashed. And of course, kind of hard to go wrong with Nazis as your bad guy. I mean, is there a bad guy out there that people hate more than Nazis? I think it'd be pretty tough to find one that is. And something I'm noticing with the art here, you saw earlier the Renzo Rodriguez story that was done earlier with Kit Fox, and this art looks very different. I'm not sure if that's because he tried to match Gustovich, or if there was some kind of talk between them to try to keep the styles similar enough so that people wouldn't see them as two different artists. But I like they kind of kept it uniform, because that isn't an easy thing to do, to emulate someone else's style. Let's see, get one more in here. Well, we don't want to show. Well, we don't want to give away the ending here, but we do have a sneak peek for Thomas Valiant #2. So that's very much appreciated. Little sneak peek into the future. And there you go. Like I said, a very thick book. It's not something that's going to be read in 5 or 10 minutes, which I enjoy that, especially since crowdfunded books tend to be a little more on the pricier side than a lot of the mainstream stuff. So at least you're getting a good value for your money that way. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to checking this out. Should be good stuff. Like I said, RJ, he's a very hep guy when it comes to understanding what makes heroes and superheroes work so well. Like I said, if you've watched any of his videos on his YouTube channel, he knows all about that stuff. So I have high hopes. And like I said, he said he learned from the last book and is going to try to work some of that into the new one, which is this one here. So we'll see how well that works. But as you can see, very different styles, very different types of stories. They're not all exactly the same, even though they all focus on heroes. It seems like they're going to be very different types of heroes and very different types of stories. So should be interesting. I hope to dig into that pretty soon here. But I want to thank you all for joining me today, despite our technical difficulties here. And I hope you got a little something out of this. If you did, please drop some comments down there below. I always want to hear what you got to say. Did you guys get a copy of the Valiant Heroes? If you checked it out, what are your thoughts? Or what do you think of RJ's previous book, the Thomas Valiant #1? What did you think of that? Because like I said, that's what I was basing my purchasing on this off of. So let me know what your thoughts are down below on any of that. And, I want to hear what you guys say. If you liked what you saw here, make sure to give a thumbs up. Help out the algorithms around here. Help us get some more traction. And please be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so you don't miss all this great content I'm creating around here for all you folks out there. So, I want to keep creating more. And so, let's get the word out. And if you can, share some links, please do. I appreciate any help you can give with that. As for what's coming up, well, I'm working on getting ready to do another of my Why It's Great videos, where I take a comic from the past and show you why it's great and why I think you should want to check it out. So I want to got that coming up. And I don't know, I'm working on it. Hopefully I can get it to happen this weekend. I'm going to try to do something to celebrate breaking 200 subscribers here on YouTube. So I'm going to do something, a video or a live stream. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm going to try to make it something a little special, something a little different than the usual shtick around here, so that you guys get something a little more fun. But hey, maybe I'll do a live stream and I'll just throw it out to you guys, and you guys who show up, just I'll bring you on. We'll chat. we can do that. Whatever comes up. But I want to do something to note that that benchmark there, and to thank you guys for that. So keep an eye out for that. I guess I'm probably going to try to see if I can swing that this weekend, and who knows? Who knows what's coming after that? Don't know, but there'll be some more stuff for sure. But I got my links down there below, along with RJ's and the One to Pop stream that I did on Sunday, so you can check all that stuff out down below. And I thank you all for joining me today. I hope you got something good out of this. And until next time, take care.